And now we continue our You Decide 2014 coverage. Here's another look at the numbers in the governor's race. Governor Scott Walker defeated Democratic challenger Mary Burke. Burke congratulated Walker on what she called a hard-fought victory. Fox 11's Mark Leland led a panel discussion during our coverage last night. He's back here this morning with a recap. Good morning, Mark.
And good morning to you, Rachel. You know, it was a big night for Republicans around the state. The Governor Walker, his win seemed to help other Republican races with the voter turnout. This morning I'm joined by Wendy Scattergood, a political science professor at St. Norbert College, to talk about the election and how things went last night. Good morning, to you. It's a late night last night for some in this election. Give us an idea. The final poll before the election from Marquette University's law school gave Walker that 7% edge there. They had been previously somewhat tied. Did that poll help him in the final there?
It may have. It may have given enthusiasm to the voters, and it certainly seems like the base voters for the Republican Party were the ones that turned out strongly given the exit polls.
Give us an idea just about who was really voting for Scott Walker. It seemed that he did very well with men as well as with independents. And independents is who both sides were going after.
Absolutely. That's what makes us a purple state. And so we have relatively even numbers in the state between Democrats and Republicans. So for them, it's all about turnout and getting your base voters out, which Walker was able to do. And then we also have almost a third, a little under a third of the voters say that they are independents, and they do go back and forth from election to election, and it looks like the slim majority of them went for Walker. And from our polling that we did a little bit earlier, we found that the independents felt a little bit more confident in Scott Walker when it came to the economy, jobs, taxes, and the budget. So I think that was kind of what pushed them more towards Scott Walker.
That seemed to play into the whole notion that a lot of people were worried about the direction, not only of Wisconsin, but the country. And maybe they felt more secure then with what they had in hand?
Yeah, well, I think when we look at the direction of the country, it's very negative. Almost 2/3 of the people in the United States think the country is on the wrong track. When we polled about the right direction of the state, however, the majority of people thought that we were on the right track in the state. So I think that was a big factor. We also found that people are a lot more positive about the state's economy, even if they're a little bit more cynical about the national economy. So I think Wisconsin voters are good at making that distinction between what they think is going on at the national level, and they're a little bit more optimistic about what's going on in Wisconsin.
It seems, talking to different people who voted, Governor Walker, even though he's run into some troubles along the way, it doesn't seem to affect him.
We also asked about that, if it made you more or less likely to vote. We asked about the John Doe. Most people said it didn't really affect their vote. The promise of the 250,000 jobs, again, most people said that it didn't really have an effect on their vote. I think they felt like there was job creation, and they felt safer with that. I think with an incumbent, that especially people are a little bit jittery with such a long recession, that looking at the positive economic signs, I think that really helped the incumbent.
Because traditionally, it's not really a good idea for a politician to make a promise like 250,000 jobs, and maybe he kind of recognized that once he didn't reach that.
Well, I think at the time in 2010, I mean, the economy was such a major issue, and that people were really looking for that kind of direction and hope. At the same time, of course, we also had a lot of support at the national level for that same idea.
Let's touch on Mary Burke. She did do well with women, and that was a key target demographic for her.
And women generally vote more Democratic than they do for Republicans. And in fact, in the national research on the gender gap, it doesn't look like being a female candidate is necessarily going to get you more votes from women. It just is that women tend to vote more Democratic than men do.
Really quickly, Governor Walker, president run in 2016?
Well, he certainly seemed like he was making a lot of sort of national statements last night, so that was an indicator, at least to me, that he's thinking about it.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you more coming up in the next hour here on Good Day Wisconsin, but for right now, we'll be right back.